General insurance is not equal to life insurance. Insurance itself has become the sunrise sector of the Indian economy. These days, you need to understand insurance on a priority basis and not on something like an optional basis. Good morning and welcome to the introductory session on Principles and Practice of General Insurance. This is for the BCom 4th semester. Now, moving further, let's first try to understand the importance of general insurance, which is a very, very interesting subject. Why? Because the syllabus has been designed in such a manner to make the subject even more practical, understandable and applicable in nature. Just have a quite close look into the syllabus. The meaning of general insurance starting, followed by the fire insurance, non-life, then we're going to talk about the underwriting and settlement and the claims process. Now all these names might look familiar to you, but then they have their own intricate meaning. Now, what is general insurance itself is something which is very, very interesting to know, because most of us would be talking about life insurance, its process, how things happen, and so many different factors altogether. But when we talk about this word general insurance, it has got a deeper meaning altogether. Followed by fire insurance, as the name itself mentions to you, the non-life insurance. So you are going to see some very interesting factors which have been brought together as a close-knit, well-designed syllabus from the University of Mysuru to make an enrichment towards knowledge. So let's go further and try to understand each and every aspect in detail, followed by the meaning of general insurance. So what is the general insurance all about? Moment I talk about insurance, it is a contract that does not come under the ambit of life insurance. So general insurance is not equal to life insurance. Point number one. Why? Because this is going to cover every other aspect other than life. So normally, when you talk about a motor insurance, a vehicle insurance, a burglary insurance, or when you talk about fire insurance, marine, aviation, or when you talk about house, property, all these factors are going to be a part of this great general insurance. Now in India, this is a concept that has come very, very late. Why? Because we were not really aware about the insurance, neither the Indian environment was really opening up in terms of understanding the need for insurance. But nevertheless, 1991 onwards, general insurance has become one of the most interesting and important factor. Nowadays, if you start looking even for the smallest mobile phone or a digital gadget that you are going to buy in your home, you are going to cover it under insurance. So in the first unit, you are going to understand practically the meaning of general insurance and how does it make importance when we talk about marine, motor, accident, or any other factors altogether. Now, the other aspect which I just want to spend a little bit more time with you is that the general insurance is something which has got a different aspect or an outlook altogether. In the sense, now a life insurance, when we talk about, it is all about the factors when a person has to get that insurance only after his life is over. But a general insurance is something which is more protective in nature, where we are trying to help the business to come back to normalcy in case of any emergency, exigency, or any other kind of fault that happens in the business. So what they have done in the syllabus is that they have first made you understand the overall concept, the companies, the nature, the principle, the structure of general insurance, how it comes into picture, why these insurance are mattering a lot to us. And these days with the mobile apps coming up in various insurance factors, this chapter will be all the more interesting for you to understand, to go forward and to develop it as a concept. Now, moving further, let me talk about fire insurance. Now, moment when we talk about the perils of the nature, fire is one of the biggest peril, no doubt about it. Now, fire insurance is something which is very, very important for all of us to know. Why? Because it is not just about understanding the damages and the losses that are caused, but it is also about the fact that in case when an emergency, when a problem like a fire breaks out in the godown, in the house, in the company, in the organization, what do we tend to do? Now, normally what happens is that in India, when we talk about fire insurance, this is something only like it's covered when that event happens. Whenever you look into your televisions, your mobile, or your social media, whenever there is a fire breakout that happens, people cover it as a part of the news and they send it across in different formats. But they never tend to educate people what we exactly need to do in that instance, in that situation. That's where the University of Mysore has made it very, very clear. By bringing in this unit, we are going to learn about how to prevent, how to cover ourselves in case of a fire breakout. Now, most of the time, we need to understand that the nature control is not in our hands. Nature has gotten its own course of action against the human beings. But then it is our duty that we first understand how to prevent, how to protect, how to cover ourselves in case of an emergency breaking out on us. So the fire insurance is a very, very practical subject, practical unit which is going to cover all the factors that is essential for the business tomorrow. So this is going to be a very interesting unit. You need to learn the concept. You need to learn what is the actual happenings in terms of understanding the fire insurance. Now, moving further, non-life. Now, people always talk about life, which is very, very important and very interesting altogether. We all know that our life is important, but there's something beyond life, and that's what we call it as non-life. So non-life is any type of insurance other than life insurance. So when life insurance is broken down into permanent, term life, and so many other factors, non-life may cover people, property, or legal liability. So if when you just look into this diagram, you would be seeing that the amount of importance people have attached to the materialistic things that evolve in our life. It might be a car, it might be a house, it might be a wallet, it might be the mobile phone, or the iPad, or the computers, the desktop, whichever that governs our life. So non-life insurance is a very, very important aspect which is going to talk about all those small factors which come in our day-to-day life, but we do not know what to do in case when these things go outside control. Now, let's say, for example, you bought a new mobile phone and that mobile phone suddenly went out of control. That means it broke down for some reasons. Now, what happens is that normally you get tense, but you do not know how to get it repaired back. You are in a state of worry whether I'm going to be covered in case of insurance. So that's where this non-life insurance comes into picture. It says that there are certain warranty periods, there are certain guarantee periods under which the mobile can be covered, the parts of the mobile can be covered. So all these factors, all these nuances you are going to learn in the non-life aspect. This is a very, very interesting chapter because this is going to cover all those materialistic factors which we have attached importance in our day-to-day life. And let me add upon here, we have a lot of case studies coming up in this particular unit altogether. Why? Because today, when you start looking yourself into the world of insurance, it is no more a subject matter of solicitation alone, but insurance has become a matter of priority, importance altogether. Insurance itself has become the sunrise sector of the Indian economy. Gone are the days when people used to think that insurance is optional, so you don't have to worry about it. As long as we are there, we will continue living our life. But now things have become completely changed. So this particular unit will start making you understand that even the smallest gadgets that are available at your home need to be covered under a particular insurance. Why? Because you never know what can go out of your control, what can really lead you into trouble. So in the unit 3, we will be seeing the various aspects which are going to cover on properties or on the legal liabilities, on the factors. What I would like to add upon here is that since this paper is quite new to the syllabus as well as in terms of understanding, there's a lot of concepts which we need to understand in detail, which means to say that insurance is not something where you can just write the theory and walk away, but then you need to know the real term, meaning and definition of all the concepts that are being told here. So I would always say that take your time in terms of understanding the concept, revisit the chapters, the units again and again, and then you will be able to appreciate the theory and the relevance of the theory to the modern context altogether. Followed by underwriting and settlement. This is quite interesting, but yet a very new topic altogether. Many times when we take insurance, there is something called as the sum assured. So you're being assured of a particular sum in case something happens to you. But who is the person? Who is the authority who guarantee you that that sum is assured for you? Come what may, you will get that money altogether. To understand that, you have to understand this word called as underwriting and settlement process. So what is underwriting? It is the process through which an individual or an institution takes on financial risk for a fee. So, if I as an individual, I go to a company, to an insurance company and say that, sir, I want to insure my life for a particular fees, then they decide upon so many factors like my age, like my habits, like my living conditions, my environment, my profession, so many other factors, and then they say that, so based on the premium that you are paying and your living habits and condition, this is the sum assured for your life. So that's where underwriting department comes into picture, which means the primary factor of underwriting is this word called risk. You need to understand risk very, very clearly. Every business has risk, but risk itself is the business here. That is very, very important for you to understand. We don't just deal with business risk, we deal with all types of risk that is involved in insurance, and we typically try to understand the loan, the insurance process, the investments, all those factors. So that is more than enough for us to understand how things are going to go forward. So this is an interesting topic, no doubt about it. Why? Because first time ever, you are going to understand how to assess a risk factor in life. Plus, in the insurance, what we are going to understand is that whenever we are going to start a new business or whenever we are going to start a new institution process altogether, our primary idea is that to get it insured, to have a backup in case if there is going to be some challenges that are going to come upfront towards it. But how are we going to manage it? Do we know the risk? Do we know the challenges that are going to be posed in front of them? The answer is no. So what we tend to do is that we go to the underwriters. We go to the insurance company. We tell them that this is the nature of business that we are planning to start up with, go with. So you tell us how we need to cover ourselves and what is the real worth of the business in case if there is going to be some sort of emergency coming on the way. So this is something which involves a little bit of analytical understanding, plus this will also make you understand the real value of insurance. Because these days, when you see your media's apps, advertisement coming up, when they say that, sir, pay 500 and get your life insured for 1 crore, or you pay 200 rupees, get your life insured for 5 lakhs, 50 lakhs, all those kind of advertisements that you see, you need to first understand, are you really worth 50 lakhs or 1 crore? Why? Because it's up to the underwriter who actually decides the value of your life and after that. So this is entirely an interesting and a new topic. So I would request all of you to please put in some extra efforts, because this will make you understand the real meaning of insurance. Followed by claims process. Claims is something, a very, very interesting part where you're going to claim back, where you're going to get back the money from the insurance. But let us first try to understand, refers to the insurance company's procedure to check the claim for the adequate information. And this is one thing that is very, very important that we have to learn whether we study insurance or we study management. The concept called as information. Most of us believe that we know everything, and that's how we go ahead and make a decision. But in insurance, the most important thing is that you need to be doubly sure about the information. Are you understanding the right things at the right time, at the right place? Are you comfortable enough with each and every line that has been printed on the insurance document? What is the kind of documentation that has been done regarding the insurance process? We believe that insurance will be always available moment things goes wrong. But are you covered for it? Are you being put under in such a position that your claims will be processed? Do you have the adequate information? Do you have the adequate knowledge? Do you really know what has happened? For this particular situation, can we claim insurance? Is this the way? Is this the right method to claim the insurance? So several questions start coming across the mind. Now, especially just for the sake of example, God forbid that does not happen. Now, in case of an accident, the first thing that strikes in our mind is only about getting into a complete shock. We are not in a position to come out of the shock immediately because there might be a physical injury or the mind state is not in a proper way. But then, if you're going to think properly how to claim back the insurance, how to get back the vehicle in shape, then the claims processing becomes a very, very important topic for you. So in case of any damage, any accidents, or any untoward incidents that might happen in your life, God forbidden, you need to know how to take the claim from that. So what the insurance companies always say here is that take time in terms of understanding the claim. So when you're going to go through this unit, the unit is designed in such a manner which is going to make you understand how to undergo the claim process, where to claim it, under what part. Can you claim it on whole or in parts, or is there any reimbursement procedure? What kind of documents we need to produce, how the evidence has to be produced. All these factors are being beautifully explained step by step in the principles and practice of general insurance. So yet another important unit that we need to study, that we need to understand in terms of this particular activity. So I would always say that this is something which is very, very important for all of us. I would also like to bring in a very small example, just taking a little bit of time here. Nowadays, since you have the mobile phones and the smart pads in your hand, you might have seen there are a lot of online insurance companies who do not even ask you for the physical documents. All you just need to do is just upload the documents and put a tick sign there. And once it is approved, there you are with your documents coming up front to you. So this is where you would be able to appreciate this factor very, very thoroughly. So that's why I say that this is a very, very important process. These days, things are going even more faster, digitally secured environment when we are talking about. So claims process becomes quite easier and also faster in nature. Followed by the most interesting topic of the day, internal portions altogether. What are the internal portions and what is internals all about? Now, the internals is going to be for 20 marks. So, is this 20 marks going to come to me right away? The answer is no. Why? Because to claim the 20 marks, I'm using the word, to get that 20 marks again, you need to attend all the three internals. Internals 1, 2 and 3. So what are the portions for the internal ones? Internal 1 will have Unit 1 and Unit 2, which is going to be Introduction to the Meaning of General Insurance and Fire Insurance. The Internal 2 is going to be on Unit 3 and Unit 4, which is going to be Non-Life Insurance and Underwriting. And the Unit 3 is going to be on the claims process altogether. Now, why am I asking you to attend all the 3 internals is because of this factor. The final marks will be awarded on the average of 3 internals. So let me again reiterate that point. It's an average and it is not best of 3. So which means to say that you need to attend internal 1 plus internal 2 plus internal 3 divided by 3. So we are going to take an average here. So it is mandatory for all of you to attend the internals with utmost sincerity and good effort in place so that you get your 20 marks. Now, having said so, let me also bring in this factor here. This 20 marks is possible for you if you prepare well, plan well and study at the earliest. So in that sense, this 20 marks becomes easy for you and you will also feel delighted scoring these marks. Going further, let's talk about the question paper pattern. Definitely this is a 3 hours paper and this is going to be for a full 80 marks with part A, B and C totaling you to 80. The first part being 5 into 4, 20. The second part being 15 into 2, 30. Again, 10 into 3, 30. So this is going to be a complete 3 hours paper, which is going to test you from the concepts, definitions, long answers, and the mid-range answers also. So how do you prepare for this entire thing is that you need to understand very, very clearly that the 5 units which have been prescribed by the University of Mysore is well blended in such a manner that you have to go through all the units, you have to give equal weightage and importance, and then you will be able to score this 80 marks. Now, there might be a question in your mind asking this, will I be able to score this complete 80 marks? The answer is 99% yes. Why? Because being a theory paper, I would not guarantee you 80 on 80. But yes, you can get as close to this because if you write well, give the clear definitions and concept, maintain the paper in a very neat manner with your clear handwriting, examples and conclusion, definitely you can score maximum marks in this particular subject. So definitely this is going to come in handy in terms of improving your percentage, your CGPA. So please do pay attention. Please do put in the necessary efforts and you can really come out with flying colors. Now, let us see the chapter-wise allotment of marks. The starting chapter is worth about 25 marks. So I would always give the Unit 1 a highest value. Why? Because if you look into the Unit 1, there is a lot of importance there. There are questions coming up. Fire insurance, not to forget, another 30 marks. So Unit 1 and 2 are the chunks of the portion. They're definitely going to carry a heavy weightage here coming forward. Non-life, you have 15 marks coming up. Underwriting, yes, this is an important chapter as I have told you about, 30 marks coming up, and again, claims process. So if I really want to categorize, the Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 4 and Unit 5 are those big 4 units which you need to pay a lot of attention. So if you are able to plan it up really well, understand the flow, write down the answers accordingly with the clear-cut examples, all these 5 units are going to be really easy and you will be able to score marks. Now, the most important thing which I would like to mention at this junction is that whenever we are talking about the marks allotment, it doesn't mean that, sir, the one which does not have the least mark, can I just skip it? No, I'm just trying to make you understand that the weightage factor can change in terms of questions moving up and down. So I would request all of you to please study all the 5 units so that you cannot leave any marks to chance and you will be able to make the best of your attempt. Followed by the books for reference. The books for reference is Principles and Practice of General Insurance by Vedamurthy, Principles and Practice of General Insurance by B.S. Raman. I would suggest all the students to please buy the textbook at the earliest, the reference books at the earliest. Why? Because being a new subject in total altogether, there might be many a times that you might not understand the concept. There might be many a times you might not be able to get the answers across in different sectors. So it will be easy for you whenever you want. You can refer the book, you can read through it, and you can understand. So as early as possible, please do buy the textbook. It is of a great help to you, not only from the education, from the academic standpoint, but also tomorrow when you are going to attend interviews regarding the financial sector, there are a lot of useful tips that you can understand. Suppose you want to make a career in the insurance sector, this knowledge can come to a great help to you. Followed by the learning outcome. So what is this at the end of the day am I going to learn out of general insurance? Now, the first thing is that you are going to learn about the role and importance. Definitely a very, very important topic. Why? Because these days you need to understand insurance on a priority basis and not on something like an optional basis. So you need to know what is insurance and why insurance plays an important role in your life. Second thing, the functions of general insurance. Whenever you ask people how exactly an insurance company works, what are the verticals, how do they actually work out on premiums, on the claims or on the processing side, most of us do not know the answer. Why? Because we have not spent time in understanding this. So this is the opportunity for you to understand the sunrise sector, which is the most happening sector in India today, the insurance sector. So you will definitely understand how the functions of the insurance sector work, and let's talk about understanding the various functions involved, because each and every function is not the same kind of marketing, it's not the same kind of the taglines or advertisement that go through, or it's not the same way in how you approach a customer. Normally, when you would have gone to a retail shop or you've seen other verticals, pharma or IT or manufacturing, these are all sectors which have a different level of marketing, level of understanding altogether. But when you talk about insurance in particular, it has got a different league of understanding, different way of doing things. So definitely all those factors are going to be covered in this wonderful subject. So I request all of you to please put in that effort in this subject, would become the most interesting subject for you. Followed by, I would like to come to the conclusion of this particular session. I hope and believe that this session was of a great resource and help to you. In the upcoming sessions, we will start understanding the meaning of general insurance and how the insurance process works. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.